Hi folks, welcome to Ditto Insurance. Today we have a rather interesting video. A couple of days back, if you remember, we posted our top 5 health insurance plans that you can consider for 2025. And it is also important to have a term plan. And that is the reason that we have Sushant today, our senior program manager here at Ditto, who will walk us through the top 5 term plans that you can consider for 2025. Now, we already made a video a couple of days back where we spoke about the top 5 reasons why you should buy a term insurance before entering 2025, or at least in 2025. And Sushant, let's start right from there.
Right.
We want to hear from you. Why is it more crucial to buy a term plan now than ever before?
Interesting. I think we've done a similar video to this before as well. But pretty basic, pretty common reasons, right? One, and I think the most important one is the price lock-in you get. In term insurance, the younger you are when you buy it, the cheaper it is. And once you buy the plan, you end up locking in these premiums. So here your prices not only increase with age. Let's say if a person doesn't buy it at 25 and buys it at 26, he'll be paying a bit more. They also increase because of inflation or other discretionary expenses that the term insurers sort of undertake. Like for example, this month there's a price hike coming up on December 31st.
Okay.
Where across the industry, multiple players are increasing their premiums.
Okay.
So for that reason, all the more sort of reason or incentive for someone to consider buying this as early as possible. The fact that it locks in your current age, and also you save yourself from these inflationary hikes.
Right.
Other than that, I think it's also easier, right? The younger you are, the easier it gets to buy a plan. There's a medical checkup and everything that happens, so your chances of clearing that and passing that with flying colors are a lot higher.
Correct.
That's another reason, of course. I mean, if I had to go on, I would say maybe even the premium payment options. When you're younger, you get a lot more flexibility in terms of how you can pay your premiums. You could pay this over an elongated tenure, for the entirety of it, or you could fast track your payments just for the next 5-10 years. Even in that, you can choose should I pay monthly or annually to make it easier for yourself on a daily basis.
Correct.
But yeah, I think that summarizes at least my top 3 reasons for doing this.
Fair enough, Sushant. Now, there are a lot of offerings in terms of term insurance, at least here at Ditto, but we don't recommend all of the plans. So I'm sure that you've shortlisted the top 5. So what rounds of metrics or factors did you consider before arriving at this list?
So I think it's quite a comprehensive list, right? I think first thing, of course, that comes to mind when you think of ranking in insurance companies, you look at their claim settlement ratio. That's the reason I buy an insurance, right? That tomorrow if I need help from them, they're there. So claim settlement ratio being my first metric, followed by amount settlement ratio, which is a bit of an important metric just in the life insurance space. Considering this is not the number of policies settled, this is the amount settled. So it gives you an idea that, look, life insurance is a large sort of umbrella, right? You have endowment plans of 1-2 lakh rupees and you also have term plans of 5-10 crores under that. So customers obviously get that question that will 1-2 lakh policies be settled and 5-10 crore claims not be settled?
Exactly.
So the amount settlement ratio gives me some transparency on that look, there's no such hera-fairy going on there. Aside from this, we've also looked at the complaints per year. So this is the complaints that an individual insured member files with IRDA against said insurance company. That look, these guys are not honoring my claim or they're not honoring the contract that we've sort of entered into. That's another factor we consider. Lastly, I think premiums, obviously the most important, in terms of how competitively they're priced across the industry. And yeah, sorry, there's another couple of metrics as well in terms of operational metrics, what we call it.
Okay.
So this would be your annual business, claim volume, market share, and so on.
And that's important because?
Very important because look, I'm buying an insurance policy for the next 40 years. I can't guarantee the company will be there for the next 40 years. Nobody can. But this gives me confidence that, okay, look, if there are 40 players in the industry, the top 5, top 10 who are doing 1,000, 2,000 crores of business, the highest probability of sticking around, right, for that long. That financially sound that it would take a lot or a major event for them to run out of business.
Makes sense.
So these are, I think, just a broad sort of overview of all the metrics.
Great.
And lastly, I think it's worth mentioning that we don't just consider 1 year. We look at an average of the last 3 years.
Okay.
So this again gives me an idea on stability. It's not that, hey, a company performed really well during one particular year. or let's say in a year like COVID, when they had a lot of fraudulent claims,
Right.
their numbers dropped and really kind of messed up. The things went askew a bit. So we do look at an average to kind of ascertain stability as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now I can't wait to get into a detailed breakdown of the top 5 plans that you've shortlisted. So without any further delay, let's get into the first one. What's on the top of your list?
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, happy to get into it. But just a disclaimer, there's no order of preference per se. I'm just going to give out the top 5, right? And I think this is important to note because the ranking changes depending on what you consider. If I were to simply look at scale of operations or size of business, then you have HDFC Life being one of the largest. In terms of the private life insurance companies, we're not considering public, which is dominated by LIC, of course. So of course, HDFC Life would be the largest there. If I were to look at claim settlement, this number can change almost every year. But right now, I think it's Max Life that takes the cake there, right?
Okay.
They're quite high on that front. Amount settlement as well, same. There could be a different brand. In terms of who has the lowest complaints, once again, it could be a different brand. So, like I said, I'm going to give them the top 5 and with no order of preference as such.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think firstly, we can start with HDFC Life. The plan is called Click to Protect Super. It's been around for a couple of years, I think, and it's quite a comprehensive plan. In terms of prices, yes, they are a bit on the higher side, and I'll come to that shortly in terms of how their premiums are compared to the other brands.
HDFC being HDFC.
HDFC being HDFC, probably. But no, there's actually a couple of interesting reasons there.
Okay.
I'm happy to share those. But yeah, I think coming to the features, right? So firstly, pretty basic comprehensive plan. They offer term insurance coverage till the age of 85, which is, I think, standard across the industry. If I were to touch upon their operational metrics, claim settlement is quite decent at about 99.2%. And the annual business that they're doing is about 1,800 plus crores. This again is one of the highest that we've seen in the private life insurance space. Coming to a couple of free add-ons and riders, or some interesting riders, I would say, which kind of set them apart from everyone else. So coming to some of the unique riders and benefits, one would be something called life stage benefit, wherein I buy a 1 crore plan today. In the future, let's say in case I get married, I can opt for a slightly higher cover. I can ask them to increase my cover amount by a certain percentage. Now this is 50% or 50 lakhs. For marriage, and for kids, meaning your first kid and your second kid, it's 25% or 25 lakhs respectively. So essentially I get 25 more, 50. I can increase my total cover by 1 crore through these 3 life stages. And they do fresh underwriting, of course. They will look at my finances once again, they look at my medical history once again, and then decide whether to give it or not. But for a customer, that convenience is there, right? It's one policy where he has this coverage rather than buying 2 separate plans.
Perfect.
So that's an interesting feature. They have terminal illness coverage. Most brands give you about 1 crore of terminal illness, but HDFC gives you 2 crores.
And this is inbuilt?
This is inbuilt. So terminal illness as a concept is such that in case you're diagnosed with a terminal illness, you have less than 6 months left to live. In which case, they accelerate your term payout itself. Meaning if you have a 2 crore term plan, they'll give you that 2 crores upfront, rather than waiting for that unfortunate event to occur. So that's a really good one as well. Coming to something that I personally think they've done really, really well with is their critical illness rider. They offer 60 critical illnesses in that list, whereas the industry average I've seen is 20, 30, 40. You do have Max Life also at about 64, but I think these two are up there. Whereas the rest of industry is about 30, 40 on average. So they've done quite a good job with that. Their waiver of premium rider also has the same list of 60 critical illnesses and disabilities. Once again, offering quite comprehensive coverage. But yeah, I think that more or less summarizes some of the features that stood out to me and their operational metrics. I think now coming to the most important one being prices. So let's take a profile of a 25-year-old male non-smoker. For a 1 crore plan till the age of 65, his premium would be almost 12,000 rupees. For a 2 crore plan, it could be somewhere about 22,000 rupees. And for a 3 crore plan, it's about 29,000 change. So reasonably priced. It's not too expensive, but you do have slightly cheaper brands out there.
Okay.
Now, I think one thing that we discussed right in the beginning of HDFC and why they're expensive. I think having been in this industry for almost 4 years now, I have seen the shifts that have happened in their prices. And I think the biggest one was during or post-COVID, right? Around the second wave of COVID. So what happened was a lot of insurance companies during COVID had to pay out significant amounts of claims. And HDFC Life being the largest, they ended up paying the most amount of claims because they had the largest market shares, the largest customer base.
Correct.
So they had a lot of sort of pressure coming from higher up, which was their reinsurer. That look, you can't operate at these prices anymore, considering the aftermath of what's happened. So for that reason, they had no choice but to hike their premiums. But the other brands are following. That's the interesting part where the entire industry is following suit and they're slowly going to be at par with HDFC. It's just HDFC had to do that a year or two earlier.
Right.
Everyone else, in fact, this month, I think ICICI's price hike is due, today or tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah, just around now. Whereas Max, Bajaj, Tata, they're all slated to increase their premiums at the end of the month.
How much percentage do you have any clue?
So it depends. I think it's at least 5%, and some brands are even expecting to go up to 10-15%.
All right. So, folks, you heard it from Sushant himself. The price hike is slated and it is happening. So, if you haven't got your term insurance yet, and if you want to get on a call with us, the link is right in the description. In just under 2 minutes, we will assign you an advisor. And with a free 30 minutes call, you can choose the best term insurance plan for yourself and you can lock in your premiums before they go through the roof. Now, Sushant, sorry I had to give out that disclaimer. All right, Sushant. Now, let's go and see what's on second.
I think here we can go with ICICI Prudential's iProtect Smart Plan. Personally, I think this plan has been around for almost 8 to 10 years at least. Although I've been in this industry for 4 years, I did have one of my clients recently share his policy with me that he wanted me to review it. And I was quite surprised to see there was the same plan and he bought it almost 8 to 10 years ago.
Wow.
So that's the oldest plan I've seen that is still around in the market. Which really goes to show, I think, how robust and comprehensive that plan is, where they haven't felt the need to tweak it. They have added 1 or 2 features through the years to obviously keep up with other marketing trends and industry changes, but they haven't felt the need to kind of scrap it and launch a new one, which most of the other brands have done multiple times till now.
Right.
But yes, coming to it, their claim settlement ratio is quite decent at about 97.5%. Their complaints volume is also reasonable. It's at about 14 complaints. This is a bit higher than the industry average, but nothing to sort of be concerned with. And as I mentioned, right, this is a 3-year average. So if you look at the individual years, there was a spike in 1 year and then the usual in the next couple of years.
Right.
So nothing really to be concerned there. In terms of duration of coverage, they're actually a bit interesting. While most brands offer till 85, ICICI has the option till 85 and they also have the whole life plan, which is till the age of 99. Now, that's not something we'd ever recommend, obviously, because I personally find that to be more of a money-back scheme rather than an insurance plan, right?
Correct.
And I think the insurer is aware of this, which is why the prices for that are, I'm not even going to go into it, but
Right.
it's a lot more.
We get it.
Exactly. Coming to riders and add-ons, I think once again they've done a good job there. Waiver of premium is inbuilt. It's only on accident disability, permanent disability due to accidents, but it's an inbuilt free rider. They offer life stage as well, similar to HDFC. They offer terminal illness up to 100%. So most brands, like I'd mentioned, have the 1-2 crore cap. ICICI says, look, if you have a 5 crore or 10 crore cover as well, we'll pay your terminal illness coverage upfront.
That's a good one.
So that's a pretty good one. I think the most important one, of course, in current sort of trends is their critical illness. So over the last couple of months, I think we did a video on this too, where a lot of insurance companies have reduced their critical illness tenure.
Yeah.
Right? They're offering it just for 10-15 years. ICICI is the last one that I'm aware of who's giving you a price lock-in for 30 years with 34 critical illnesses. So this again, I think, is going to be valid just for another month or so, and then they're planning to revise this feature as well.
So if anyone wants to buy ICICI Proof, it's better to do it now than a month later because they lose this feature.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly. If you want a good comprehensive critical illness, that's locking in your prices for such a long tenure. HDFC and Max, for example, are only locking it in for 10-15 years, and then they revise your prices, they do a recheck, and then decide whether to give it or not. So I think that's something that ICICI really deserves some praise for. They've also got some pretty interesting discounts running right now. Now this again is for specific profiles. A lot of insurers like to do this where they incentivize salaried individuals to buy a plan.
Okay.
Right, for some reason. And maybe there's more stability there, for example, right? That, with their income and their ability to pay premiums and so on. But they do have some offers where I think ICICI says you get a 10% off in your first year. And if you opt for a limited payment where your premium, you're paying it just for the next 5-10 years, they give you a 15% discount in your first year. So now in a limited pay where your premium can go a bit high, let's say to 50,000 or a lakh, you're getting a pretty decent discount on that for your first payment. So I think that's another good incentive to consider a brand like ICICI. Lastly, I think prices, the most important one. Same profile, 25-year-old, 1 crore till 65, non-smoker. So for a 1 crore plan, 11,000 approximately would be the annual premium. For a 2 crore plan, about 17,000. And for a 3 crore plan, around 26, 27,000. So in comparison to HDFC, right, almost 10% cheaper in some cases.
Yeah.
So you can see that gap. But once again, they are increasing their prices and should be at par soon. But yeah, I think that summarizes ICICI.
Perfect. So what's third on your list?
So I think the third one on my list would be Axis Max Life. They were formerly known as Max Life until a couple of days ago. I think, yeah, we always knew they were backed by Axis Bank, of course, but I think they wanted to merge and sort of put that brand out there, in terms of the years of trust that both of them have built.
Correct.
I think Max Life started off as Max New York for, almost 20 years now, and Axis Bank as well being, I think, in our top 3, top 5 largest private banks in India.
Correct.
So I think this branding, of course, just helps to establish that trust that they've built. But yeah, the plan is Smart Total Elite Protect, or for ease of pronunciation, it's the STEP plan that we call it. Yep, that's the one. I think they really are a powerhouse with their claim settlement ratio, about 99.5%, one of the highest I've personally seen. So I think, yeah, the complaint volume is quite reasonable as well, about 7 complaints for every 10,000 claims. And their annual claim payout is somewhere about 1,500 crores. So this again speaks volumes, right, about their kind of financial stability, their position in the market, their ability to pay claims, and so on. But yeah, I think that's just a quick brief on their operational metrics. Something interesting in terms of their riders and add-ons. One, of course, critical illness, they have 2 options, 22 illnesses and 64 illnesses. So that leaves the customer the choice, right? That look, does he want a very basic, simple, reasonably priced one? Or is he willing to shell out, some big bucks for the 64 one as well, if he wants a very, very comprehensive list?
In your tenure as, who's advised many folks, what do you think? Is 22 good to go with, or is 64 really required?
Like I mentioned, if you're okay with just the basic important 22 ones, then that's good enough, right? And you're trying to be a little price conscious as well. Personally, having looked at the list of 64, I can't recognize a couple of them, right? Okay. These are names you haven't even heard of. Okay. In terms of common critical illnesses versus, illnesses that do occur out there, but how frequent or how common are they? Right. Now that comes down to your sort of risk appetite, how much you're willing to spend on this, and how many scenarios you'd like to cover.
Okay.
But yeah, it really is a personal choice at the end of the day. The duration of the critical illness, I think, now has been capped to just 15 years. So after 15 years, you can always revisit them and ask them to renew it, and they'll decide whether that option exists or not. So that's pretty much how that would work. Another interesting rider that really stood out to me personally was something called Insta Claim Payout. So this is a bit unique to Max Life, wherein in case there's a claim, right, the second the nominee or the day the nominee approaches them and files for a claim, there's an instant payout that they give. Okay. They take their time, of course, to process the documentation, to verify the claim and everything, and then give you the entire payout. But the day the claim is made, that day itself, some amount of money is at least given to the family. Now, this again, they have caps, they have some sort of limits on it. So let's say if your policy is between 20 and 50 lakhs, they'll pay about 25,000 rupees upfront. If your policy is between 50 lakh and 1 crore, you'll get about 1 lakh rupees upfront. And for anything above 1 crore, you will get a 2 lakh payout upfront. Now this again, like I said, is just simply a way of them showing the customer that, look, there's, we're here to help you, we're here to stand by your side in a tough time. And some basic, financial support just to get you started could help, while we do our due diligence and give you the rest of the money as well.
Right. I remember that there was a similar feature in Tata AIA as well, when we discussed about Tata
exactly.
AIA, right?
They do have something similar too.
Yeah.
But yes, this is pretty much, I think, the features that come to mind. Other than that, they're like most other brands, right? Now look, since I'm buying this plan for the next 30, 40 years, right, there could always be a scenario where I'm not very, in a sound financial position, maybe for a year in between. It could be due to obligations, it could be due to the market, it could be anything. So MaxLife gives you this option called the cover continuance benefit, where you can simply defer one premium payment. So you can tell them that, look, this year I'm not able to pay my premiums, but I would still like to keep my insurance active. They'll give you that option. So how it works is, after the first 3 policy years, you can exercise this benefit, and you can choose to exercise it every 5 years. Now, if I defer the payment this year, it means I do have to pay it next year, right?
I
It's not
thought
that
that would be a
it's simply,
discount.
it's not that it's a simple skip in my premiums.
Okay.
They're just being a bit understanding of your financial situation.
Wait, it's like premium holiday that
Pretty
Bajaj
much.
offers. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you just have a year of gap to kind of get in a better financial position.
Perfect. Okay.
But yes, I think that more or less summarizes Max Life. Coming to the most important one, prices. Same profile once again. If we take a 25-year-old non-smoker till the age of 65, a 1 crore plan would cost him 10,000 change. A 2 crore plan would be somewhere about 17,000, and a 3 crore plan would be 25,000. Now, like you can see, it's even cheaper than ICICI.
Yeah.
Right. But Max Life is also going in for a price hike by the end of the month. I think on December 31st.
All the more reasons for our audience who are watching today to go ahead and book a call with us and fix their prices early.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question that we get, right? That, look, in case there's a price hike, do I need to finish my entire process before that date? And that's actually not true. All you need to do is fill up the proposal form, make the payment, and upload your basic documents. That's it. The rest of the process can carry on, where you do your medical checkup later, the underwriting happens. I mean, this could take at least 2-3 weeks to a month for your policy to be actually issued. But all you need to do to lock in that price is fill the proposal form and make the payment before the date of increase.
So the application takes less than a day to finish?
It takes 40 minutes, right? 30 to 40 minutes to fill up an entire form. That's about it.
Perfect. So folks, 1 hour for the rest of your life. So that's all it takes for you to secure your life. And you can do that with Ditto with the link in the description, where advisors like Sushant and Ajay and Supreet will help you to find the term plan that's best for you. So go ahead and book a free call with the link in the description. So Sushant, where are we on the list? I think fourth one?
Fourth.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah. So let's go with Bajaj Allianz. They would be my fourth sort of name on the list. Pretty good brand. I think claim settlement pretty decent, about 99.11%. Complaints volume is also reasonable, just about 4.4, so which is in fact lower than some of the brands we've discussed so far. Annual claim payout is on the slightly lower side, and this is in fact a reason why Ditto personally never used to initially recommend them. We had just 3 brands in our portfolio, but now we've recently onboarded Bajaj and Tata as well, because we've seen them grow in the last 4 years. So we monitor brands on a yearly basis to decide who to kind of recommend, and based on that, we've added them to our portfolio as well.
Are we adding someone new soon?
No, just these for now, and maybe, right? You never know if there's someone interesting, then
Right.
we're more than happy to. Yeah. But yes, I think in terms of Bajaj, coming to their claim payout is just about 600-700 crores. Now again, a bit on the lower side compared to the likes of HDFC and Max, which are double, right? Almost 1,500 crores. But nonetheless, a real up-and-comer is what I would call them. In terms of features, they're decent. Like you rightly said, they do have that premium holiday option where you get to skip your premiums. But here, not just for 1 year, for 1 to 3 years, you can decide. And you also can exercise this every 5 years post it's been activated. Life stage benefit is quite interesting here, where it's not just marriage and kids, but it extends to a home loan and education loan. Meaning, should you, take on further financial responsibilities or financial risk like that, they're willing to bump up the coverage as well to make sure that you feel safe and secure, even with those additional liabilities. So I think that's really a considerate feature to have, right? In terms of kind of making sure that your customer is taken care of. Coming to their discounts, I think one of them really stood out to me personally. One, of course, like we mentioned, they do offer a salary discount for the first year. They also have a discount called first-time insurance buyer discount, which means if this is your first insurance policy ever, right,
Health
across the
or term?
industry, life insurance,
Okay.
first life insurance policy, they will give you a 4 to 5% discount in your first year as well. So it's interesting, right? Again, they're trying to incentivize people that, look, you need a financial security like this, so why not have Bajaj be your first one there? So I think that's what they're trying to do. Lastly, coming to the prices, for a 1 crore plan till the age of 65, 25-year-old male non-smoker, 1 crore would be about 10,300, including GST. A 2 crore would be about 16,000 change, and a 3 crore would be about 24,000. Once again, even lower than Max Life now, right? But there you are going in with a slightly smaller company. So I think that's what a lot of customers end up choosing. That look, I don't mind paying that extra 1,000, but I want to go with the larger and more proven brand who's been around for that many years.
Makes sense.
Nothing against Bajaj, they are one of the largest names in India, but in the life insurance space, they're still a slightly smaller player.
Understood.
Yeah.
All right.
I think last one now finally is the Tata AIA, which is their Sampurna Raksha Promise. This is the latest plan that they've launched. We had Sampurna Raksha Supreme and a few other variants before this, but the latest one is SRP. Quite a good option. I think firstly their claim settlement ratio is about 98.9, above the industry average. They're doing a good job with the complaints. Just about 3 complaints is their average for the last 3 years.
Wow.
Annual claim payout as well is good. I would say it's at par with the bigger players like HDFC and Max, or a bit lower maybe. It's about 1100 crores. In terms of duration, they do offer it all the way until 99 as well. Once again, that's not something we recommend, but you do have the whole life plan at Tata. They have some interesting discounts. For the salaried discounts, they also have Tata Group employee discounts. Being such a large group, I'm sure that would benefit a lot of people, right? Where
Yep.
if you're part of any sort of Tata group, you are eligible for a discount in a Tata term plan as well. Just for the first year, but yes, it does give you that benefit. Their critical illness rider, while it's decent in terms of the number of illnesses, about 40, they have the lowest duration right now, if I'm not wrong. It's just 5 years.
Wow.
So they'll renew it every 5 years. They've clearly mentioned that in their wording that it's subject to renewal every 5 years, which means they'll also revise the prices for you every 5 years.
True.
And now all the more reason to, I'm sure ICICI is looking a lot better with their 30-year critical illness now. They also have a specialized plan for high-income individuals, wherein if your income is above 15 LPA and you're opting for a slight or 2 crore or higher cover, you're eligible for slightly lower premiums. This is called the Maharaksha Supreme Select Plan, if I'm not wrong. A lot of insurance companies do this. I think there are a couple. Even HDFC has one option, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, they do offer a different, slightly same plan, same features. It's just a little lower pricing if your income is a certain threshold and you're buying a certain higher cover.
Right.
But yeah, I think that summarizes Tata as well. We have done a very comprehensive video on that recently, so I don't want to go too much into detail.
So finally, prices kitna?
So I think same 1 crore 25-year-old till 65, male non-smoker. A 1 crore plan is about 10,000. A 2 crore plan is between 17 and 18,000, and a 3 crore plan is between 25, 26,000. So again, at par with your HDFC Max and so on, and I think HDFC just being slightly on the higher side compared to them.
Understood. If I have to ask you, what would be your top 3 picks among these top 5?
Once again, it's a bit hard to sort of give you a definitive answer there.
Okay.
In terms of an emerging player, then yes, I would like to definitely consider Tata into that list, right? Because they were a much smaller player 4 years ago, but we've seen the kind of growth and the kind of, even for example, their complaint volume, right? They're able to maintain that at such a good number. So that really does speak volumes about them. But personally, look, while everything looks good on paper, we have faced some operational metrics working with them.
Okay.
Right? In terms of getting the policy issued, or once the policy is issued, you have a 30-day free look period. Now, if I want to go and get something changed there, it's a very tedious process. I've had a much smoother experience in the other brands.
Okay.
So there's various metrics for me to consider. Having worked a lot more closely with the first 3 brands over the last 4 years now, I think those would have to be my top 3. Right, your HDFC, ICICI, and Max. But a special mention definitely goes to Bajaj and Tata, right? I think Bajaj, especially for their benefits or coverage for NRIs. Same for Tata as well. I think these two are doing a really good job in terms of providing comprehensive coverage and a lot of benefits for NRIs in terms of making it easier for them to buy the plans.
Thank you so much, Sushant, for taking us through all the 5 plans that we offer here at Ditto. So folks, this brings us to the end of today's discussion. Now, if you would like to book a free call with us and narrow down on the best choice for you, then the link is in the description. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, folks, happy insurance hunting.